Hey guys, this is Rodolfo Martinez, athletic trainer here again with Figure It Out Baseball, and I wanted to introduce a new stretching technique in today's video. Previous video went over a stretching technique called positional breathing. If you haven't checked that out already, be sure to do so. It's a good way to get a little bit more range of motion out of your stretches and make them a little bit more effective. Today's video is going to do much of the same, just in a different manner. So the technique we're going to go over is called PNF stretching. This stands for proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. Sounds very complicated, but really all it involves is activating the muscles during your stretch so you can get a little bit more out of your joints and out of your muscles so you can get a little bit more range of motion, like I said before. So there are a couple things going on physiologically that make this technique effective, but really all you have to understand is that when you go to your end range, go to your limits of motion, your body recognizes this as something that's threatening. There's a potential for injury risk here. You're going to your limits of motion, so your body is thinking that you could pull something, that you could tear something. What happens is your body sends a signal to tighten up your muscles in response. It wants to make sure you're not pushing further into a range of motion in which you'll injure yourself in. Stretching, however, is something that's helpful. It's something that you can't really hurt yourself doing. So what PNF stretching does is it activates the muscle, because when you activate the muscle, you're signaling to your body, hey, this is non-threatening. There's no risk here, we're okay, we can calm down and we can let these muscles relax. So once you activate those muscles, the body sends a signal to override the original signals that it sent to tighten that muscle up in response to the stretch. So this will get you a little bit more range of motion when you do it. And the way we employ it is much the same as the positional breathing, actually. So we'll hold the stretch, we'll hold that for about 10 seconds, we'll do our PNF technique, and then we'll pull into a deeper range of motion and hold that for another 10 seconds. So there are a couple different PNF techniques out there. The one I like to use involves a very light contraction. So if we're going to put this all together in, let's say, a forearm stretch like we did in the positional breathing video, we're going to go into that stretch, we're going to hold it for 10 seconds, and then we're going to do our PNF technique. So the PNF technique is, all it's going to do is involve a light contraction of the muscles on the inside of the forearm that are being stretched. So I'm going to want to pull into wrist flexion, where I'm pulling my fingers towards me. And I'm going to be just pushing against my hand with manual resistance. So going into that stretch, holding that for 10, giving a very light contraction. So as you can see, I'm not overpowering my resistance here. We're going to hold that contraction for about 5 seconds, and then you're going to pull deeper into more of a stretch afterwards. And you're going to hold that deeper stretch for about 10 seconds there. 10-second stretch, 5-second activation, 10-second stretch, pulling into a deeper range of motion. This can be applied to any stretch it is that you do, whether it's your shoulder, your hamstring, whatever you want to do. A good rule of thumb is to just go in the opposite direction that's being stretched. So you want to think here about what muscles are being stretched and how you want to activate them. But if you're not sure, a quick way is just to go in the opposite direction. So let's say we're just doing a standard arm across stretch with the shoulder. If we're pulling this way, the way I want to activate, the way I want to resist is going in the opposite direction, going that way. So if I were doing this for the shoulder in an arm across stretch, I pull my arm across, I try to push across this way, do that for 5 seconds, and then go 10 seconds pulling a little bit further across my body. So play around with it, be sure to try this out. This can also be incorporated with the positional breathing that I covered in my last video. So see what works best for you. Hopefully you guys learned something today. Hopefully you can supercharge your stretching routine with some of these techniques that I've introduced in this series. Once again, this has been me, Rodolfo Martinez, athletic trainer with Figure It Out Baseball. See you guys next time.